Read reviews of their work so you know what other people are saying about it. Look for them, search for them on Google, look for them on Amazon. There's a thing, look for them on Wikipedia, but don't trust it.
Yeah, don't trust it.
So, and in fact, there's a very good website resource for movies called imdb.com, the Internet Movie Database, imdb.com. That's an excellent resource, but it's not infallible either. And I found this out interviewing a guy named Bob Amaral, who's a TV and stage actor who's been in a couple of movies, which got him onto IMDb, but he was here with a touring production of The Producers, a musical theater thing. Anyway, I'll read you a quote from my article about him. I had never heard of this guy before I was assigned to interview him, so I had to do a lot of research. But here's a couple of lines from my article. Asked about the imdb.com story that he was discovered for the show while working as a parking lot attendant at Castle Rock Productions, Amaral says there is, quote, no truth whatsoever, unquote, to the tale. In reality, he says, he was working as a bartender at a Hilton hotel in Hollywood when he got a call out of the blue from a casting director to whom he had given a photo a year earlier. So, in that case, what I was able to print in my story is straight from the horse's mouth, and it contradicts what's already out there on the internet. So, do research as widely as possible, but ask the person about what you found to make sure it's really true. Don't just throw it into your story. And if you are going to put something in your story that they didn't tell you, make sure you specify where you got that information, because there's all sorts of stuff on the internet. Some of the things on the internet are put up there by the people you will be interviewing themselves. A lot of these creative subjects have got Twitter accounts or blogs or Facebook pages or whatever, and you should definitely look at those, especially since those things, they get updated in real time. So in the case of this interview, this movie version of G.I. Joe came out, this is about a year ago, let's see. Yeah, August 2009, starring Marlon Wayans and Rachel Nichols. I interviewed the two of them while they were in Tokyo, and Marlon Wayans has a Twitter account, and he had been twittering about all the things he was seeing since he got off the plane in Japan. And I had one, like from the night before, he put up a Twitter post, and I was able to ask him about it. So that was pretty fresh. Probably no one had interviewed him about that before. It had only been up a few hours. And what he said is that he had visited a temple, and he had gone to an incense burner and wafted incense over himself, and he drank some holy water from a sacred spring, and he was probably going to go to hell anyway. So anyway, I printed that out and I brought it with me, and I read it to him, and I knew I was onto something when his publicist stuck her head in the room and glared at us, because there's nothing she could do about it, because it was his own words, which he cheerfully admitted writing. And then Rachel Nichols jumped into the conversation, and she said, "Oh, you're not going to go to hell. You're definitely going to heaven." And she turns to me and said, "He saved my life twice on the set. He's definitely going to heaven." And in interviewing, I should backtrack. Something I should have told you also on the internet. Look at YouTube and type in your person's name plus the word interview, and you'll be able to watch a lot of the other interviews they've done, which may give you some ideas of what to ask about, and it will show you the common overused questions to avoid. But anyway, on the interviews I've read with these two before, being in Japan is a bit of an advantage, because these things usually come out in the US first, so there's all sorts of press coverage, and you can see what's been done to death by the time it gets here. There was an incident where some kind of pyrotechnic device, I mean, this is a big splashy action movie, some kind of pyrotechnic device had set her hair on fire, and he had put it out. And that had been mentioned in many interviews, but she said he saved her life twice. And apparently they were on some kind of hydraulic lift being shot up into the air, and they were wearing safety harnesses, but something went wrong and she fell and he caught her. But that incident hadn't been in any articles I read, so I made sure to include it. So I asked a new question and I got a new answer, and I was able to give my readers something new as well. And that was from Twitter. But Twitter, like all these other online things, you have to be careful, because there are people masquerading as celebrities on Twitter. I found that out when I interviewed Christian Bale. He came here to promote the latest Terminator film, which he's in. And there's a Twitter account in his name that looked real. And the reason it looked real is because it was completely dull. It was very boring. There was nothing kind of that sounded jokey or scandalous or shocking about it. But I asked him about this, and he said, that's not him, and I wouldn't be caught dead twittering. And then he went off about how he thinks Twitter is so stupid and he hates it. So I put that in my article.